My name is Nicholas Teresi, Nicholes, last name Teresi. I will be conducting the interview with Tou Lee, Tou, last name Lee. He is the son of Pastor Tou Lee and Pao Lee. For UWM field study of the homeowners near the Washington Park area. I would like to begin this interview by asking his mother, who is accompanying us, did you receive a consent form for your son?
Yes.
Do you have any questions regarding
No.
the consent form?
No.
And are you do you agree and allow your son to proceed with this interview?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And what is your date of birth?
December 30th, 2000.
1000. So that would make you how old? 16?
15.
15? Okay. And where were you born?
I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Minnesota. How old were you when you moved here?
About 4 or 5.
About 5 years old. So you still weren't in school, right?
I just started school.
You started school here in Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Okay. And you are the eldest child, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so how do you, I mean, I guess you're too young to be able to compare Minnesota. Do you remember Minnesota at all?
No, not Minnesota.
No. How do you like Milwaukee?
I guess it's where I grew up, so it's however I perceive it now.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, have you visited any other states?
Yeah.
Would you care to live in a different state, or do you like living here?
well, most of my friends, I know a lot of friends and family here, so it depends on the situation I'm in. If I were to move.
Okay. So if let's say your parents were to move to a different state, would you, and let's just say you're 18 and old enough to make your own decision at that point, would you probably follow them?
Probably follow them. Yeah.
Okay. So right now, what grade are you in?
I'm freshman going on to sophomore
In high school?
in high school.
Okay. Which high school do you go to?
Wisconsin Lutheran High School.
It's a private school?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you like it there?
It's nice. Fairly large school and pretty modern, so I think I keep up well.
Okay. So I had to interview both your father and mother earlier, and they both have pretty traumatic experiences with being bullied throughout their school years, in middle school and high school, and there are some stories that are really traumatizing, and I'm sure that you already know those stories. But do you feel that you're bullied at your school?
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever had a problem with bullying.
So you feel pretty accepted with
Yeah.
with everyone else?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think that is? Why do you think your parents, when they were going to school, they were bullied, but now as you're going to school as the next generation, you're not so much, or not at all?
I feel like I guess it's more on when my parents went to school and because they were not born in America, so they're English too, and you pretty much knew that they were immigrants or not from America. But since I was born here and my English is okay, and that it's newer age now, I feel like I don't have a problem with it, because I feel that now people accept, I guess, Asians, I guess, more like Asian immigrants, and I kind of like fit in with them, even because they wouldn't know where I'm from, so I fit in with the immigrants, even though I'm not,
Okay.
unless they ask.
So in school, who do you generally hang out with? Who are your friends? Are they also Asian descent, or are they African American, Caucasian?
I pretty much I hang out with usually a wide variety of races, because I don't like to stick with one one race.
Okay, so you have friends from all different types,
Yeah.
all different kinds of races and cultures.
Yes.
Yeah. And how do you have any of your friends ever come over to your house?
Not this year, no.
So ever since you moved into this new home, you haven't had any friends over?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Is that because you're still getting settled in, or is that because your parents don't allow it, or?
I think it's just because I feel like I should probably get to know them more, to the point where like I can invite them over.
Okay. And how long have you known them so far?
In high school, I've known most of my friends for only that year, for only 1 year. But I had one friend who we went to the same grade school together, so I knew him for about 5 years prior to freshman year.
Okay. And that friend that you've known for 5 years, have you not had him? Have you ever had him over your house?
No.
No. And why is that?
Probably just because we never felt like it, because he lives kind of far too, so I feel like there was no really time or appropriate reason to come over. So
Okay. Have you ever gone to his house?
no.
No. So you guys just hang out at school?
Yeah.
Okay. And would you consider him like your best friend, or just a friend that you've known for a long time?
I don't want to say best friend, but so I think I just say friend I've known for a while.
Okay. So when your parents worked with the acts to purchase this home and everything, when you first seen this home before it was remodeled, what were your first impressions?
When I first saw it, I was kind of skeptical if we were gonna buy it or not. But after my parents actually bought it, and we're talking about actually beginning to work on it, I was thinking about how the time and how much work it would take to fix the place up.
Okay. And I know your parents said that you helped out a lot with the construction process, and primarily the demolition of the old walls. How did you feel when you were helping out? Were you excited, or?
Felt like it. It was just helping my parents out, I guess, because I guess can't really not help them. So I help them out, but then sometimes I would get tired of it, and I don't know. I'd be bored for a while. Then I guess towards the end of it, when the house started coming together, I was eager to get it finished, I guess.
Okay. Did you already have like your room picked out, or was that something your parents assigned?
Well, it was assigned, but I agreed to it, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get the biggest? I mean, not the biggest, but the second biggest room.
I wouldn't say the second biggest, because my sisters share a room, so I think they got the second biggest.
Okay. And you don't share a room.
I don't.
Okay. And is that because you're the oldest, or is that because there's a huge age difference?
I think it's just because I didn't want to, and my parents agreed to that.
Oh, okay. So you specifically asked them to
Yeah.
have your own room?
Yeah, because they were talking about sharing a room with my little brother, but I didn't want it, so they let me keep my room to myself.
Okay. And did you paint your room?
Paint, no, because they sprayed it. Yeah.
Okay. So after the construction was all done and you were finally able to move in, what were your first impressions in the house?
The first night we slept in there, I was I felt kind of uncomfortable because I was building it, so it still felt kind of like unclean. But after a couple weeks or a couple days, I just adjusted and I was like, okay, it's fine.
Okay. So when you first moved in, you just felt like it was still, you could still picture how it looked before.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did it? Are you guys? I mean, you guys look pretty settled in now. How long did it take for you guys to settle in?
Like from the time we built it, or just from when we moved in?
From the day you moved in, and you felt the house was still.
I guess it was just a couple days, maybe close to a week, but it was pretty easy adjustment.
Okay. And are you happy living here now?
I am.
Yeah. And how do you feel about this community, this neighborhood?
It could be better.
Why do you say that?
Primarily the gunshots and the stories of people being killed, and you know, just the dangers of walking out at night or whatever. But, I mean, we don't really do anything dangerous, so I guess it'll be fine if we just be careful, I guess.
Okay. Have you ever heard gunshots?
I have.
You have? And how did you feel when you heard them?
I've heard them before, so I didn't feel uncomfortable. I just, oh well.
Did you hear them in this house before, or did you hear them in a different house?
It was further down the street, so it was decent distance away, but I could still hear it
Oh,
to the
okay.
point where I recognized it was a gunshot and not like fireworks or something.
Okay. But the first time that you heard it, because the second time you recognized it from the first time. Where was the first time? Was it in?
It was at our old church, that old house. We used to live at the church, so I think that was the first time I heard a gunshot, or I remember hearing a gunshot.
Okay. And it's just you said that people just tell you stories about how bad this neighborhood is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a friend who used to live just down the block in the apartments, so he would tell us stories all the time.
Yeah. And do you ever tell kids at your school where you live?
Not exactly where I live. I just say the general area, just because we're talking about stuff like that.
Okay. And what do you call this area? Like when you talk to your friends.
Honestly, I would say talking to my friends, I would say the hood.
The hood.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't say like the north side or Washington Park? Or
North side, I do, but I say it's like right on the border of the north side and the south side, cause the bridge. So, but I feel like the north side is really vague, because the north side could be up north more too. So.
Okay. So you just tell me you live in the hood.
Pretty much.
So do you feel safe in this neighborhood?
In this general area, yeah. Just yeah.
Do you feel safe enough to maybe like go outside and hang out around the block? And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still do.
You still do?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do when you go outside and play? I mean, do you like play sports or do you just hang out?
If I'm playing sports, it's usually in the backyard, just kicking a soccer ball or throwing a football or something. Usually, or not usually, but sometimes I have some friends over, and in the morning we go jogging around.
You go jogging?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said when we were here, you said that you guys usually use the back door.
Yeah.
Instead of the front door. And can you just tell us again why you do that?
Because the cars are back there, and we only use the front door when we're coming back in. Either when we're getting dropped off, or we park in the front to drop stuff off in here, and then. but sometimes we do go to the back if there's not a lot of stuff. Like there's just a small amount of luggage, like a backpack or something, then we go to the back and just park there and enter to the back.
Okay. So if you buy like groceries, you usually come to the front door, or?
Depends on how many. If there's a small amount, we just drop off by the front door. If there's a lot, we usually park up by the side up here and use the back door. And if we don't want to park again, then we go park there. And if there's a small amount, and we just bring it from the back.
Okay. And so when you said when you first moved into this house, you said you can kind of almost sense how the house used to be, and you felt it was almost dirty, right? What smell can you think of that you associate with this house?
Usually, just the basement smell with like I don't want to say water mold, but something around that.
Okay.
In general, yeah. How basements usually smell.
Yeah, that's it's interesting because both your father and mother, when I asked them that same question, all three of you said that you guys can smell the mold coming from the basement. Is that why you have a humidifier in the kitchen?
We just recently put that in like a couple of days ago. We have one downstairs that we just started using.
Okay. Is that helping with the smell?
I guess. I don't really notice a difference now because I didn't really pay attention, but
You just got adjusted to the scent.
yeah.
And do you when your parents are doing stuff with the church and working with the community, are you usually also helping out?
Usually.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
do you feel that's something? Is that important to you, or are you just doing it to help out your parents?
Well, it's not really like a thing I feel like I have to do. Like I feel like I have some sort of free will whether to choose to do it or not, but I also feel like I probably should do it. So.
Okay. And your grandparents and your parents all pretty much followed the same career path of being part of the church, being pastors, ministers. Is that something that you may continue on, or are you looking into a different career field?
Honestly, that's what I've been. That's pretty much the only realistic thing that I've had set for my career path since a long time ago. But just recently, I was thinking about going into teaching, but in like a Christian environment, teaching in a Christian environment. Or me and my mom just discussed this not too long ago about going into theology, becoming a theologist, I guess.
Okay. So you're most likely, you have a lot of time to think about it, but you're most likely edging towards the keeping, theology or becoming a pastor within that realm of religion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly.
And is that because that's something you want to do, or is that because you're just carrying on a tradition?
Yeah, it's something I wanted to do for a while. So.
Okay. And why do you want to do that?
I feel like that's something I would enjoy doing, I guess. It's because I usually I've always wanted to I guess speak in like a public forum, but not really like a something outside of my my religion, I guess. I've never really wanted to do like a public speech about something I don't want to talk about. So
Yeah, so you're passionate about religion? Okay. And we also noticed when we came in the few times that we've been here that we remove our shoes at the front. I already asked both your parents what their reasons are. What do you think their reasons are? Right, okay, you can go ahead. But,
honestly, I think it's just to keep the house clean.
okay. Do you think it's just to keep the house clean? There's no real cultural.
Yeah. I think a lot of
reason?
people think that, but I don't know. I feel like it's just to keep the house clean. It's what
Yeah.
we grew up with. So.
Yeah, a lot of Asian cultures. That's I think it's, Japan's like one of the big ones where they want shoes taken off as a cultural thing. So we were just wondering about that. And when you walk around, do you have any special or like certain feelings when you walk throughout the floor? Like when you wake up in the morning, is it cold or did it or how? What senses do you feel when you walk through this house?
I think I only thought that when we first moved in, cause now it's just this is where I live, and I don't really pay much attention to it anymore. But when we first moved in, I was just I usually it was in my room when I say wake up. I felt kind of how the carpet used to feel when it was like really dusty. I just remember that when I'm walking on it. And when I exit, it's just the floor is like it reminds me of when we put it in and we didn't have to and we could walk without shoes on the floor. So I remember walking on that with my just my socks.
Okay. And what is your favorite room in this house? Like, what is your space that where do you like to be if you had to choose one place in this entire house?
Probably my room.
Your room?
Yeah, because it has everything that I'd want in there, I guess.
Okay. And it's is it other than it having everything? Is it because maybe it's like privacy?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, I think we have pretty much everything we need from you. I mean, I only have one more question. There's lots of paintings on the walls. I know it's mainly your father and your mother put them up, but I was wondering, do any of them have any special meanings to you specifically, or you just have like posters in your room?
Honestly, they've just been here, I guess, because used to have a lot of paintings at our old houses too, so they've been here for a while.
Okay. Has your father ever sat down and explained to you why he has these specific paintings on the wall?
Only the ones with the pictures of Laos. Yeah.
Pictures of what?
Of Laos.
Of Laos?
Yeah, camps.
Okay. So, like, for example, the one over there with the birds in your living room, did he ever explain why he has that one up?
He might have, but I don't remember, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we have everything we need. thank you for taking the time to just